get through our speeches from different contributors. Just like we have been hearing since yesterday that the management is doing very well. And you know that from the union and workers angle, the more you do well, the more we ask for more. Workers can never be tired of asking you for more. It's not because you are not doing very well. Keep on doing your best to satisfy your workers, just like it has been discussed in this session. Thank you. The issue of training was highlighted here and there, and some of us see training from going from one organization to the other, going outside the country to go and learn something. Training is beyond that. When you employ new employees, you deploy them without induction, you have not done the right thing. Induction training is key to any job you want to give anybody. Then the issue of cooperation and working together, synergy, is highly important. We have all agreed here that management cannot do it alone, neither can the workers do it alone. We have to come together, discuss the way forward, and find solutions to them. From all the topics we have been discussing, what is central here is the employee. No matter how beautiful your programs are, it cannot implement itself. You need workers to implement your programs. That is why the cooperation is very, very important, that we should work together as a group so that we can, the sustainability of aviation industry become more absolute or more sustained, as we are all praying for. Please, I want to use this opportunity again to remind us that workers' welfare is very, very important. Because if you give somebody monkey pay, he will give you monkey service. That's what you deserve from that person. If you pay somebody well, the person will do his best to deliver. Then we equally know that the role of union in organizations have been very important. What am I saying? Without union, there are so many people who would like to enslave the workers. Many people would like to enslave the workers because if people can render you service and you didn't pay them, if there is no union, you will equally not pay salary and nothing will happen. So the union will only go to church or mosque and be praying that their salaries should be paid because they don't have anybody to represent them. Going by the power conferred on me, I want to appreciate this group of panelists, starting from our Sheikh Mohammed. Thank you so much for your contribution to this discussion. Comrade Ben, the paper you deliver really elicited the kind of response that is true. Thank you for the papers. Group Captain Ojikutu, we are grateful for your presence and contribution. Engineer Mrs. Ijoma Ihenacho, thank you for your beautiful contribution too. Mr. Olusegun Koiki, we really appreciate your contribution because it showed that you are not only within the airport premises, you are part and parcel of what is happening in the aviation industry. Thank you for coming. Our DHRM from the ministry, we truly appreciate your presence and thank you sincerely for your contribution. And the next in my list is Alhaji Sadiq, the president of AROFFS Cooperative, who is equally an insider. You have really told us what your cooperative is doing to assure our workers that all hope is not lost. And we thank you for that contribution as well. Our brother from FMT and A Cooperative, Mr. Basi Hori, we are grateful for your coming and thank you for the information and the opportunity you represent. Thank you. Next, and not the least, our director from NAMA, the DHRM. We are always grateful for your contribution, both on personal and official ground. I have had cause to meet with you on several grounds, and I really enjoy discussing with you. And we use this opportunity to thank the organizers of this program for bringing this topic up. At least it has shown that the organizers are truly aware of who the stakeholders are. You are bringing different people since yesterday, and all their contributions are germane towards sustainability of aviation industry in Nigeria. This is a topic that cannot even be exhausted in weeks. I wish that there is a platform where some of this discussion can continue after today, so that those who have questions and issues to raise can send them to those platforms, so that proper responses can be given to that. On behalf of this team, we are grateful to FAAN management and the organizers of this program. Thank you all for coming, and have a pleasant evening.
Thank you very much, the moderator, Mr. Sani Jimo. A round of applause for them once again as they take group photograph.
This is MD.
Yeah, yes. MD FAAN, please, could you join them for this photograph? Please, may we rise and stand and position for the photograph. MD FAAN, please. We recognize the presence of Engineer Rabiu Baba, the former Director of Engineering Services, FAAN. You are highly welcome, sir. Thank you very much as you return to your seat. Please, a round of applause for them again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dave. May I say, for those that have more comments to make, there's a portal, which is the FNAC portal, where you can send in more of your comments or questions that you want to put. We're attempting to tidy up today with the last presentation coming up, and I am privileged to want to introduce to us our discussants that will be on this panel today before I introduce our presenter. We want to do everything possible so that we can round up and get our meals, and then we go to rest and then come back tomorrow. The panel of discussants are as listed, and we have first the moderator in this panel. It's no other person but the MD CEO of McFoley Hospitality Limited. Please help me to celebrate and welcome Mr. Chike Oge. Please, can we put hands together for him as he comes to take his seat? While he is on his way to his seat, may I also say that the MD NACO, Mr. Indranil Gupta, is also a discussant. Please, can we put our hands together for him? May I quickly call the MD SACO, Mr. Basil Abuarumi, to please come and take his seat. Please, can we celebrate this very hardworking gentleman? May I also confirm that the chairman, Nigeria Trade Facilitation Committee, representing the Federal Ministry of Trade and Investment, was kind enough to send an amiable representative in the person of Usman Abdullahi. Please, can we put our hands together for Mr. Usman Abdullahi? Distinguished delegates, permit me to introduce our next presenter in a manner well appropriate. He is a man of many parts with an impressive antecedent as a travel business consultant, a travel promoter, tourism development expert, media consultant, journalist, and author. With his wealth of experience and worthy intellectual investment, He stands as a square peg in a square hole to interrogate brilliantly the topic repositioning cargo operations through development of agriculture and natural resources in Nigeria. Please, let's welcome Mr. Ikechi Uko as he comes over to make his own presentation. Please, can we clap some more for him? Can we celebrate him?
It's supposed to have been at 3, but it's starting at 4, so I stay. Good evening, everybody, and thank you for having stayed this long. So today I'm supposed to share a little bit of something on cargo. And coming from the tourism environment that I come, it's a little strange that I'm the person here going to speak on avia cargo. But something happened along the line, and I'll give credit to FAAN. Sometime in during the lockdown, one of my clients suddenly switched over to cargo. And within 1 month of the COVID pandemic, they became a cargo airline overnight. No passengers, and they were carrying cargo. So I listened to 2 of the managers discussing, and they spoke in Amharic. Then they turned to me and said, Kechi, how come we bring 4 freighters to Lagos and there is nothing to take out? Don't you produce anything in Nigeria? I said to them, that is strange. Nigeria is a big country. We generate a lot of produce. He said, but we have nothing to carry. We just bring in, and it's like that for every other airline. 10 airlines, 10 freighters we know come into Nigeria, and most of them leave empty. And that got me thinking. I said, okay, I have a skill set that I can bring to bear to see if we can change this. And I pretended that I was going to change a big problem. And it led to the Avia Cargo Conference I started, CHINET. And in the course of the work of CHINET, we found out it's possible to change quite a lot of things. I was privileged to have a lot of experts come to discuss the situation on the ground. And I learned a lot from them. So in the last 3 years, I've done nothing else but get involved in trying to fill those empty planes that leave Nigeria when they come with. Nigeria is leading in almost all agric commodities that is being produced in Africa. But Nigeria is number 5 in avia cargo business. And the charts that we'll show you will tell you, the FAAN MD has already talked about it in the beginning during his own presentation, that we are number 5, despite having the biggest economy, having the largest population, having the biggest production of almost all the leading agric produces, and we are still number 5. Some other people are eating our lunch, or some might be eating us for lunch. So, I saw another interesting thing on one of those WhatsApp groups. This is not about air. We've already heard that 10 freighters come and they leave empty. Now this is maritime. 80% of the containers arriving in Nigeria return empty. Out of 10 containers that come into Nigeria, only 1 or 3 leave with exports. Meanwhile, Nigeria, as the largest exporter of many agro products, loses close to 1 billion annually due to non-certification of agri products for exports. Now let's go to the biggest avia cargo airports in Africa for air cargo. Jomo Kenyatta, Kenya, is an interesting one. Kenya's GDP size is the same as Lagos State. Lagos has the same GDP as Kenya. Now Kenya is even going back because Ethiopia and co are overtaking Kenya. Yet Kenya is number one in avia cargo. Kenya doesn't grow more than other people. Kenya does not have the biggest airline. Kenya's airport is not the biggest, but Kenya is number one, which means there's something they are doing right in air cargo. Nigeria is number 5. Hopefully, with the help of FAAN and other stakeholders, we can change that in the next 1 year. For domestic, air cargo is almost, I won't say non-existent. The opportunities are there, but we are not doing very well. So let's look at the agri-products. Globally, Nigeria is number 1 in yam production. Nigeria in the whole world. Nigeria is number 1 in cassava, number 1 in shea butter, number 1 in melon seed, number 1 in kola nut, number 1 in cocoyam, sorghum, okra. Please clap for yourself. I like that. So for quite a lot of things, we're in the top 5 or in the top 10. How many of those things do we export, either by sea or by air? We'll give an answer to that later. In Africa, we are number 1 in yam. But my friend here will always say, if you go to the shops in UK, Puna yam is made in Ghana. Ghana just does 8.5, but Ghana exports quite a lot of yam. And this yam we hear comes from Nigeria. They truck it, wash it, package, and put, like the MD said, made in Tamale or made in Ghana or made in any village in Ghana. So Ghana is eating our lunch when it comes to yam. We are number 3